Now I will explain 3 types of partnerships offered by the Census Bureau and why these partnerships are important. The Census Bureau offers 2 types of partnerships for state governments and 1 partnership structured for county governments. First, we will discuss the 2 types of BAS state agreements. The purpose of the BAS state agreements are to coordinate the sharing of information and resources between the U.S. Census Bureau and the state governments to collect boundary information for legally defined geographic areas. In order to participate in a state agreement, the state must have laws requiring local governments to report all boundary changes to a specified state agency. Under the first type of state agreement, the state reports boundary changes for all incorporated places, minor civil divisions, if applicable, and counties within its jurisdiction to the annual BAS. Under the second type of state agreement, the state provides the Census Bureau with a list of local governments that reported boundary changes to the state. The Census Bureau uses this list to target those local governments for the BAS. Through this partnership with the state governments, the Census Bureau aims to reduce the duplication of effort among various levels of government and to decrease the cost burden associated with the annual BAS. Currently, the Census Bureau maintains several of these agreements, and we are actively seeking to establish BAS state agreements with all interested parties. The third type of agreement offered by the Census Bureau is the County Consolidated BAS Agreement, referred to as the CBAS. The Census Bureau offers these agreements to counties interested in submitting boundary changes for the incorporated places and minor civil divisions within their jurisdiction. The CBAS program allows counties to report boundary and feature changes for some or all of the legal governments within their county. Once a local government agrees to the consolidation, the local government will no longer receive BAS materials. Instead, the county BAS respondent will be responsible for providing the Census Bureau with the boundary updates. Now, we will cover the BAS State Certification Program, or State CERT, which provides state-level agencies with an opportunity to verify that the status updates and boundary changes received through the annual BAS were accomplished according to state law. The State Certification Program ensures the legal boundary changes and legal status changes reported to the BAS are implemented according to each state's laws. Ensuring the legitimacy of the information reported to the Census Bureau improves the accuracy of the information stored in the Census Bureau's databases. This is important because the Census Bureau has the responsibility of collecting and maintaining accurate legal boundary information. This program ensures that the information stored in the Census Bureau's MapTiger database matches records on file with state governments. The Census Bureau asks the governor of each state to designate a state certifying official to review listings of annexations received through the BAS. The state certifying official may certify that the legal information for the annexation is correct or add any annexations reported to the state that were not reported to the Census Bureau. In states that mandate all local governments submit boundary changes to the state certifying official may edit annexations to reflect the correct attribute information, and he or she may reverse annexations reported to the Census Bureau that were not reported to the state. The next state cert cycle will provide the state certifying official with a chance to review attribute data collected during the previous BAS cycle. The scope of the state certification program varies from state to state, based on each state's laws pertaining to incorporations, disincorporations, and legal boundary changes. State statutes, constitutions, or state codes provide the provisions for these changes. Some states require local governments to report all legal boundary change information to the state government. In these cases, the state certifying official may request that the Census Bureau edit or delete information received through the BAS. In states that do not require local governments to report boundary change information to the state, the Census Bureau will not edit or delete information without confirmation from the local government. In states that require governments to report boundary change information to the state contact may notify the Census Bureau of any missing or invalid boundary changes. In these cases, the Census Bureau will send the local government a letter documenting the discrepancy between what the state and the Census Bureau have on file. For boundary changes missing from the census files, the entity may report changes to the following BAS cycle. For boundary changes flagged as invalid by the state, the entity is responsible for working with the appropriate state agency to resolve the discrepancy. After resolving the issue with the state, the entity may submit the valid boundary changes to the Census Bureau. This section concludes our introduction to the BAS. We strongly encourage you to watch the other presentations and demonstrations. If you have any questions, please contact the Geography Division staff. Thank you for your interest in the Census Bureau's Boundary and Annexation Survey.